Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. If you're looking to have your most successful growing season yet, you've come to the right place. In today's video, I'm sharing the method I use to make sure my garden thrives year after year. By the end, you'll have all the tools you need to set yourself up for a flourishing garden. So let's get started. The first step is to decide what you want to grow in your garden this year. For many of us, that changes from year to year, depending on several different factors, whether a crop worked in our garden or not, or maybe it was something that our family didn't enjoy eating as much, or a certain crop that just got attacked by disease or pests. And those are some crops that we might not want to grow again this season. Deciding what not to grow is an important part of this process because by saying no to certain crops, we are making room for what we really want. For example, I know there are a few crops that my family will not be growing again this year. We will not be growing paste tomatoes. We decided we only want to grow cherry tomatoes because those are the ones that everybody loves eating fresh. Paste tomatoes are a lot of fun. They do take a long time to ripen, and they are great for making paste, but we did find out, even though I did make a lot of tomato sauce, we don't use it as much as we thought we would. So we still have a lot of tomato sauce left over from last year, and I don't really want to go through all that process if my family just doesn't use it a lot. I think we will do just fine without growing paste tomato this year. We might grow one or two big tomato varieties just for like a slicing tomato or to use in making salsa. We also decided that we will not be growing celery this year. A few years ago, we grew over 20 celery plants, and we realized very quickly that we could not keep up with it. We did use a lot because I was juicing at the time, but since then I have stopped juicing and I no longer need that amount. So last year we decreased our amount of celery and we still could not eat it all. And we just found out that we don't love it. So we decided to use that space to grow something that we actually really love. We grew way too many jalapeno plants yesterday, and we will not be doing that again this year. Yes, we want to grow some jalapenos and maybe some other hot peppers, but we will not be growing that many. I want to make sure we use our space very wisely this year, and just having that many jalapeno plants was not effective for us because we just don't eat a lot of spicy foods. Another crop we will not be growing this year, and this really pains my heart because I actually love it, is butternut squash. We grew it vertically and it was a lot of fun, and we just grew so much of it. We had a lot of it this winter. We were able to give away some to friends and family, and we still have some in our basement. But the truth is that we have not been eating butternut squash a lot this winter. We realized that 3 out of the 4 people in our family don't tolerate butternut squash very well because it has a very high sugar content, and it is best for us to stay away from it. So aside from making a few pies during the holiday season, we haven't been using the butternut squash, so it doesn't make sense for us to continue to grow it this year. Another crop we will not be growing this year are beets. I found out that I am very sensitive to beets, and I am taking a break from beets this year. And I was really the one who loved beets the most. So if I'm not going to be eating it, it's harder for my family to incorporate it in their foods. So we're going to take a break from it this year, and then we'll revisit it again next year and see if it's something we will bring back. Some other crops that I decided not to grow this year again are chamomile. One, because we already have a lot. We have been using our own chamomile tea for the last couple years, and it's been amazing. And last year, I didn't even plant any in the garden. They all just came up on their own. And when I see them coming up on different parts of the garden that are not ideal or it's not where I want them to be, I will just pull them out of the ground and plant them where I want them to be, and they grow very well. So I am so thankful that I don't think I'll ever have to start chamomile seeds again. I will not be growing bok choy just because it doesn't work very well for us. It goes to flower before it actually gets to a good size. And another crop that has been a fail for me year after year has been Napa cabbage. For some reason, it does not grow well for me. I should just get rid of these seeds because I don't think I'm ever going to grow it. I found a variety of cabbage that grows very well for us, and I don't need to grow this. And the final crop we will not be growing again this year are the yard-long beans. We did enjoy growing those. But I also found out that I love growing bush beans. We will no longer have the arch trellis that we had in between our two berry plants because we want to focus on creating a different trellis system for our berry plants. And there aren't a lot of other areas in our garden where we want to do that arch trellis system. So we decided that this year we are just going to focus on growing a lot of green beans, but more the bush type varieties. So as you can see, there are many reasons for why we may change our mind about certain crops. It might not even be because we don't really like it, but it's just maybe it just doesn't fit our lifestyle that year, or it doesn't accommodate to our garden plans for the year. Now I can make a list of all the crops we will prioritize this year. Once you've decided what you want to grow this season, it is time for the next step, which is to select your seeds. And I always like to start looking through the collection of seeds that I already have. In this bin, I have all the seeds that I've used in the past, and many of them are seeds that I will actually not use this year for the reasons that I mentioned a little bit ago. But now I want to share with you what we actually decided to grow this year. And I'm excited because just a few days ago, I got my seed order from Baker Creek. And just a few minutes ago, as I was recording this video, the mail person came and delivered my MI Gardener package. So I'm going to be opening that up and showing you the seeds that I got from there as well. So first of all, I will be growing different types of lettuce. These two are actually free seed varieties that I got from Baker Creek last year, and they were amazing. We really enjoyed these, and definitely we're going to keep growing these. These are just some old packets that are still working well and have been really good for us. So I did not feel like I needed to buy any more lettuce because we have enough for the year right here. We really enjoyed growing peppers last year, so we are going to grow these two varieties again. Red Cardinal de Toro was a lot of fun to grow, and the family really enjoyed those. And then we had also the traditional California Wonder Peppers. These are seeds that we saved from our plants last year, so I am excited to see how they do this year. I did mention that we are going to grow jalapenos again, but a much lower quantity. I'm thinking maybe 3 plants will be enough. And these are just some of the staples that we always have in our garden. We always have cilantro. I don't have a lot of seeds left in this packet, but I have a ton that I saved for my plants last year. So we definitely did not need to order more. We will be growing kale again, but I am not going to grow as much as I did last year. We still have so much kale in the freezer from last year, and we need to slow down with kale. We always grow basil. We always grow a ton of basil, and I still have basil in the freezer until this is ready to harvest. We will once again grow cucumber. These are the 2 varieties that I grew last year. Bait Alpha cucumber, and then this tender green cucumber from MI Gardener. We loved both of these, and I didn't get to save any seeds, but these are some leftovers from last year's order. Once you go through all your seeds in your inventory, then it is time to actually decide what you need to order. And I made a list of all the seeds that I needed to order, and then I went into my 2 favorite seed stores. I wish I could buy everything from just one site, but I can never just find everything I need in one store. So I like to buy my seeds from Baker Creek and MI Gardener. Now I get to show you the seeds that I got from Baker Creek, and we will be growing a lot of bush beans. So we have Blue Lake that we really loved last year, and I wish I would have saved seeds, but I didn't. And we also got these jade beans, which were also wonderful. So we are definitely growing those again. We are growing Alyssa Craig onions again, which we've done before, and they are just amazing. And also the yellow sweet Spanish onion. We love growing sunflowers, and we wanted to grow mammoth sunflowers again. I grew so many sunflowers last year, so why did I not save any seeds? I don't know. I think it was just the end of the year. Things were crazy and I totally forgot, or I don't know what happened, but I needed to buy a new packet, and I am excited for that. This is one of the varieties of cherry tomatoes that we will be growing. It's a new one for us. It looked very good. A lot of the varieties that I wanted were not available. So I decided this year that I am going to try a new one. I also ordered the bumblebee, I think pink bumblebee from Baker Creek, but they made a mistake and they didn't include it in my order. So that one is still coming in the mail. Cauliflower. I've never grown cauliflower before, but I am excited for this. I've mentioned in my videos that I will only be growing orange carrots from now on because even though the yellow, white, and purple have been a lot of fun to grow, they're just not as reliable as the orange ones. Denver half-longs are some that I have grown a lot in the past and have been amazing. So definitely wanted to do those. And then I wanted to try this one here, and I think they will both do really well. And another new crop that I want to try growing is this radicchio. I have never even tasted it before, but all I know is that it is really good for the digestive system because it is considered a bitter. So I will be doing a lot of experimenting with this and figuring out how to use it in our food. We got this as a free seed from Baker Creek, this banana pepper. I've never grown banana pepper before, and I wouldn't eat it, but I think my son would love a different type of hot pepper. So we might do maybe 1 or 2 plants of this just for fun. And I am so excited for these flowers. Look how beautiful these are. These are Cosmos Apricot Lemonade. I have this pink Senorita. Zinnias, they are just so gorgeous. Here's another zinnia. It's a giant coral. Poppy, that kind of looks like a peony. And another zinnia. And I am so excited for my flower garden. From M.I. Gardener, we got this Calabrese broccoli. We also got this golden acre cabbage, which is the one that we've been growing for the last couple of years, and it works very well for us. I am also going to be growing dandelion and arugula again. My husband is not a big fan of these, but again, these are considered digestive bitters. These are very good for digestion, so I think we definitely need to have these in our salads. These are the 2 cherry tomato varieties that I got from M.I. Gardener. Red Centiflor tomato, which we planted last year and we loved. I just was not able to save seeds from it, and I will have to do that this year. And then this orange currant tomato that we've never tried before, but looks like a lot of fun. And I am excited that we are going to be growing this sugar baby watermelon. We grew 1 watermelon last year, and that was very exciting. But I think we are ready to take our watermelon growing experience to the next level. And I like that these are a little bit on the smaller side, and we want to trellis this somehow. So that's going to be a nice, fun project. And I have another flower here, straw flower, which I have never seen in person, but I've seen the pictures, and they look absolutely beautiful. And I will be trying these. So I am excited to add this to my flower seed collection. Once you have selected your seeds and you know what you're planting, it is time to move on to the 3rd step, which is to map out your garden. And this is probably my favorite step because this is the time to dream. We are trapped inside the house right now. There's snow outside. It is very cold. I don't want to be outside, but what I want to do right now and what I can do is dream. So I sketch out all the beds, and I will write down exactly what I will be planting in each of these beds. This year we are not adding beds to our garden, but we are changing our space just a little bit in order to accommodate for more chickens in our backyard. So in this step, it is actually important to measure out the beds and know their size. And I already have an idea of how long each of my beds are. I want to make sure I put some of the taller crops towards the back of my garden because my garden is on the north side of the house. That is why I plant all the sunflowers along the back fence, and in front of the sunflowers I plant whatever crops we are growing up a trellis. And this year it's going to be tomatoes, cucumbers, and other things like that. There are certain beds that are going to be used for multiple crops. For example, this garlic bed I will be able to harvest by the end of June. So in July we will be planting green beans again like we did last year. This step is crucial for me. If I don't map out the garden and if I don't decide what crop is going to go in what bed, by the time it's time to transplant, I don't have a plan and everything is chaotic. This also helps me know what is going to be realistic for me to grow and how many of each plant I can actually grow in my space. So in order for me to decide how many seedlings I need to start, I need to know how many plants I actually need. And if I decide, for example, that I only want 10 pepper plants, I might grow a few extra just in case a few of my pepper plants don't make it. And if I have some extra seedlings by the time it's time to transplant, I can either find space somewhere in the garden or give it to someone else. But I always plant just a few more just in case. So once you know exactly what you want to grow and you have laid out your garden map, it is time to create a planting schedule. I don't have a specific garden planner. I've tried different methods to do that, but it doesn't work for me. I decided this year that I'm going to use just my regular life planner and I'm going to include it in there. So I want to show you my method of how I write everything in my calendar so nothing gets missed throughout the season. The first thing I need to do is identify my first and last frost date. My last expected frost date is May 4, and my first expected frost date is October 12th. That information is crucial because it will allow me to know when I can start my seedlings. I grow all my plants from seed. I either start seedlings in our home here and then transplant them when they're ready to go outside, or I direct sow. So I need to be able to know when to direct sow or when to start my seedlings. One of the things you can do is to look at the back of your seed packet. And in the back of your seed packet, it will tell you when you need to start indoors. For example, for this California red pepper, it tells you to start indoors 8 to 10 weeks before last frost. So if my last frost is May 10, I need to count 10 weeks before that, and that's when I will write it in my planner. That is a week that I should be starting my pepper seedlings. Now, I like to start them maybe even a week sooner than that because peppers actually take 7 to 10 days to germinate. And sometimes I've had failed germination. For some reason it doesn't work. I want to give myself enough time to start a new batch. So these ones I will probably start maybe 11 or 12 weeks before my last frost date. If you don't want to start seeds and you want to transplant and you buy the seedlings from a store, then it's also helpful to know when your last frost date is, because peppers and tomatoes and those crops that love warm season like cucumbers and squash, those ones should be planted after there's any risk of frost. And in my area, actually, even though our last expected frost date is May 10, there are many people actually who wait till the end of May to transplant some of these warm loving crops because sometimes we do have like very freak situations where the temperature just dips even in mid to late May. So whether you are starting your own seeds or you are buying transplants from the store, it is important to know your last frost date in order to do that. Knowing your expected first frost date is also helpful because you can plan to start some of your fall crops using the same method. For example, if your first expected frost is October 10 and you want to plant a cool crop like broccoli, for example, or cauliflower, then you can see how long it takes for that plant to mature, and then you can count backwards to see when you should be starting your plant. This is something that I have to do for all of my plants. So this does take a little bit of time because I have to look through all of these. Some of these packets don't tell me when I should be starting indoors, so I do have to do a little bit of research in the computer to see how to start them. Some of these flowers may need cold stratification where they need to be for a period of time, they need to be in the fridge or in a very cold environment to be able to germinate. So I need to make sure I do that as well because I have time. It's only the beginning of February. And now that I have scheduled all my planting times in my planner, I have a plan moving forward and I know exactly what I need to do to make sure I have a successful growing season. It is time for me to execute this plan. So join me in the next video because I will be starting my first seedlings for the season. And I'd love to hear from you. Drop in the comments below your favorite gardening tip and also tell me what you're planning to grow this season. I hope these tips help you plan your best growing season yet. If you found this video helpful, please make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification button so you don't miss an update. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.